With time series data, one factor we've talked about was the overall trend. Is it going up, down, or stable? The second part that we're going to look at is our seasonality. So often the data fluctuates with different seasons. And when I talk about seasons, there can be a multitude of different things that I mean by that. I could mean literally summer, autumn, winter, spring. But when we're talking about data that we're collecting over time, most of the time for business purposes and so on, they use, for example, months. They'll use January, February, March, use the months. If they're talking about days of the week, movie ticket sales over days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If they're talking about hours of the day, a production line, how often do you do your production line? 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. So there can be a variety of time periods that the data refers to. So we want to look for patterns within any of those examples there, or beyond that. We're looking for a common pattern within that season. So when I talk about season, I don't just mean summer, autumn, winter, spring. So when I'm talking about my sunglass sales examples that we looked at in the trend video, we were talking about the sales of sunglasses in millions of dollars, and those sales have been collected every quarter. So that tells me I've got 4 quarters in a year. So I've got quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and I've defined these here on for you. Okay, so quarter 1 refers to the months of January, February, and March. Quarter 2 is the months of April, May, and June. Quarter 3, the months of July, August, September, and quarter 4, the months of October, November, December. So that means each data value represents the total amount of money that New Zealanders spend on sunglasses per quarter. So if I'm referring to this quarter 1, it would tell me the total amount of the total amount of money spent on sunglasses for the months of January, February, and March combined. That's what the quarter 1 would represent. So it's a data value per quarter, where each data value is the amount of sales per quarter. So let's have a look at this. So first thing I'm going to do, so that's my sunglass sales, that's the graph that we're going to look at. Here's our steps. The first step is we want to draw the trend line. We want to then match up the matching seasons, and I would go and grab a highlighter to do this personally. Then I'm going to try and notice, is there a pattern that they are always above the trend line, always below the trend line, or around the trend line? And then I'm going to write that interpretation up. So here's our interpretation for this example. Putting on my trend line, and I'm going to start with quarter 1. So first of all, I've highlighted these where quarter 1 2006 is. And then I'll do quarter 1 2007, quarter 1 2008. So for each year, because remember there's 4 quarters in a year, so I can literally count it. I can say, right, this is the first one. There's 2006 quarter 1, 2, 3, 4. The next one will be 4th one, that'll be quarter 1 2007. Okay, because remember you've got your time along this axis, and it goes quarter 1, 2, 3, 4 along there. So there I've drawn on the quarters, quarter 1 of each year that I've got data for the sales of sunglasses. Now compare those points to the trend line. Are they above the trend line? Are they below the trend line? Are they some above, some below? And when I look at this, I notice that pattern, that these are all below the trend line. And that's what I want to say. So I'm going to say that in quarter 1, which is January through to March, the sales of sunglasses are always below the trend. Okay? Then I'm going to try and tell the story and try and explain why that might be. And so I'm going to say it might be because that's the end of summer. And most people are going to buy sunglasses at the start of summer, not the end of the summer. So we're still getting some people buying sunglasses in that time. There's definitely selling sunglasses, but it's not going to be as high as the start of summer. So that would be quarter 1. Now let me try the same data set again, but now instead of doing quarter 1, let's go for quarter 4. So that's what I'm going to do now. There's my trend line. Here's quarter 4 2005, quarter 4 2006, 2007, 8, 9, and 10. So I've got quarter 4 highlighted there now. What pattern do you notice? These are always above the trend. We'll find with quarter 2, some will be above, some will be below, some will be around the trend. So there's some variation there, and that can be a good pattern to talk about, but I particularly like to go for the highs and the lows, essentially. So in this case, I'm noticing that quarter 4, which I'm going to tell you what months that refers to, that's October through December, and the sales of sunglasses are always above that trend line. And that might be because it's the start of summer and people are buying that to protect their eyes from that UV glare. So there's an example of some seasonality interpretations.